Hey, this is Lacey Sturm, and you're watching Loudwire.
Hey everyone, Gruhamed here for Loudwire, and it's Wikipedia Fact or Fiction time with Lacey Sturm, of course formerly of Flyleaf, now releasing the new solo album, Life Screams. Thank you so much for joining me, playing the game today. So, went through your Wikipedia, Flyleaf's Wikipedia, all that stuff. Pulled out some things I thought were interesting so you can prove, disprove, and elaborate if you choose. So, start with the easy stuff, which they do get wrong sometimes. You were born Lacey Nicole Mosley in Arlington, Texas.
I wasn't born there, but yes, that's where.
I see they get it wrong.
But yes, that's where I grew up. So.
Where were you born then? I
was born in Homestead, Florida.
Yeah, that's a bit far away. Okay, so there's one fiction already. See, this is why we do this. This, I know this was like a description in your book, but it says in your younger days you were an atheist and you hated Christians. Like,
that's true.
Early. See, this is what I wondered about that. Was it more of a, because I mean, as like a teenager, I understand hatred towards people. Like that was totally my wheelhouse back then. So like, was it more of a hatred towards people or like the organized religion concept itself?
I hated people who didn't hate people. and Christians seem to be, I think I was distrustful of happy people. Because it was like, how can you be happy in a world where all these terrible things happen? So Christians sort of fit in that category, especially I felt like they wanted to control everybody and tell everybody what, that they're right and everybody's wrong, and it just made me hate them. So I felt very hypocritical. So yes, I did hate them.
All right, there you go. It also said, the day you planned to end your life was the day that your old life ended. After a screaming match with your grandmother, you ended up in the back of a sanctuary, hating everyone in the room, and you had a religious epiphany, which you credit for saving your life.
Right. I wouldn't say it was a religious epiphany, because religion to me feels like a bunch of rules and just sucks the life out of everything. And I know everybody thinks that word differently, but me, I wouldn't say that word. But yes, I did have an encounter with God that I didn't believe in.
Okay, so it was more of a spiritual epiphany of some kind?
It was definitely spiritual. I had an encounter with what I would say is a real, living, scary, loving God.
Really? Would you be able to tell me a little more about that?
Yeah, well, I was about to leave the church to commit suicide, and someone stopped me. Well, before that happened, actually, the preacher was saying, he was up there talking about families, and everything he said was like I was the only person there, and I was really weirded out by that. And I kept thinking, you gotta get out of here, this is freaky. And then finally he stops and he says, there's a suicidal spirit in the room. And he's like trembling, like in tears. There's a suicidal spirit in the room. And I had judged this guy, I was in Mississippi at the time, and I just thought, this is a redneck who just hates everybody, and he just only wants people to be like him. And he starts crying like he cares about this person, like he feels the weight of this. He says, there's a suicidal spirit in the room, and everything was silent. And I was like, I gotta get out of here. This is weird, And he's like, please come up here and let us pray for you. God has a plan for your life. He doesn't want you to die tonight. And I was like, there's no way I'm going up there. And I didn't go. And I went to leave, and somebody stopped me at the back door, and it was this white-headed man that I never would have looked at. And he stopped me and he said, God wants me to speak to you, and he wants you to know that even though you've never known an earthly father, he'll be a better father to you than any earthly father could ever be. And I was like, I don't need a dad, But he kept on saying things he couldn't know, and I kept on trying to rationalize why it was, he just guessed because I'm wearing a Pantera shirt and I have purple hair.
I was about to say, is it that obvious that you were the person?
I was like, oh yeah, I have dad issues. I'm sure Phil Anselmo has some, whatever. But I was like, just ready, just like trying to rationalize, and then finally he says, "You've been rehearsing your pain, and God's seen you when you cry yourself to sleep at night." And he told me the gospel. Jesus died to take the pain out of your heart. You don't have to carry it. He carried it for you. Can I pray for you and ask him to take it out? And I was like, that's exactly what I want. That's why I'm going to go die. I want a pain to go away. And so I said, okay,
Did
you can
tell
pray.
him that, or
No,
you just thought that?
I just thought that, and that's why I finally said, okay, you can try praying.
Okay.
You know, and he
was it more to appease him?
No, it was because of that, the continuous, you can't know this about me.
Okay.
Why are you talking to me? You know, why are you judging me? Like all this stuff. And he just kept being so genuine. So finally he says, can I pray for you? And I said, okay, you can try and pray. Because I'm ready to go die. It was finally like this willingness to try something besides suicide. Mm-hmm. And so he puts his hand on my shoulder, starts to pray, and he said, God, I pray you wrap your arms around this girl you created. And it's exactly what it felt like.
Did you ever see that white-haired man again?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah, I still talk to him. We text.
Oh, cool.
We text. I put a picture. Last Christmas, I had all my fans that read my story and the reason. I said, please write to, I call him Poppy. Mm-hmm. I said, please write a letter to Poppy and thank him if his his interaction in my life impacted yours. And there was all these letters, and I sent it to him. He was like, I can't quit crying. It was awesome. So, sorry, it was supposed to be like funny, this whole thing. It's been really
we go all along the spectrum.
Oh, okay.
It's all good. Doesn't know. It's just real. We just want it to be real.
Okay.
So, in 2004, Flyleaf was known as Passerby, played a showcase for RCA Records in New York City. RCA passed on the band, but the president of Octone Records was very interested, and the band waited for 2 days in their van at a truck stop for a phone call about a possible showcase with the label.
Yeah.
That's true?
Yes.
I really want to know about waiting for 2 days in the van. Can you tell me what that felt like?
Well, I think we almost died because I don't know if you can, what is carbon monoxide poisoning or something? Like,
you don't need to keep the van on.
Well, I think we just had like, well, it was cold. It was like January.
Okay.
No,
fair enough.
Was it January? Yeah, because we got signed January, so it was December or something like that.
Okay.
But anyway, we're in there, and I feel like I'm like dizzy, like and I'm crawling over bodies, and I'm like trying to get to the door. I'm like, we need to open the door, or we're all gonna die in here. But it was, you know, I mean, we were roughing it. It was a 1988 Ford Club Wagon. We toured the country 3 times in that, 3 national tours. We toured with Stained, actually.
Yeah.
That was one of our first tours. And Aaron Lewis calls our like companies like, do you think this is not routed for a van? They need a bus. And so we're like, tell them. But James Diener, the president of Octone, he believed in us, and he's one of the biggest reasons why we're here, you know. So I'm so thankful he snuck into the RCA meeting and waited, you know, until he knew if RCA was going to catch us or not. And he was like, I'll take him, you know, and he believed in us, and I'm just so thankful for that, you know. So I want to give him credit because that was awesome.
The song Fully Alive, it says that it's about the way that you would wake up sad for no reason, and you were inspired by a friend who was just glad to wake up every morning.
Sort of.
Sort of? Okay.
It's sort of true. I mean, it's not about waking up sad for no reason.
Okay.
But it was definitely inspired by the singer for Trust Company. Do you remember Trust Company?
Yes, I do remember, yeah.
His wife, actually, that he was married to when we were touring with them, she had some kind of medical condition, that kept her in bed for a couple months at a time.
Oh, wow.
And she, like I said, she was so happy to be not in bed. Like, she was always happy. I was just like, you're phenomenal. And she never like, nothing fazed her, and it was just her gratitude for being out of bed. So I was really inspired by that. And yeah, her name's Layla, and it says it in there.
All right, okay, well, there you go. See, correcting the reasons. Final one, it said that you've expressed that with the birth of your son, Jack, and the death of one of Flyleaf's lead audio engineers, Rich Caldwell, that you found the true meaning of memento mori, which is a reminder of mortality, and this is what led you to quit Flyleaf.
Yeah.
That's basically it in a nutshell.
I mean, there's so much that goes along with that, but yeah, that's a good summary. That's good.
Yeah. Anything else that maybe before the birth of Jack or before the engineer, did you feel tired? Were you
Well, like I said, when I got married, I just didn't know how to divide myself up. You know, I'm just such an all-in kind of person, you know, and I think I needed balance. So it was good to find out, you know, what it was like to tour being married and how to do that well. Josh was on the road with us, my husband. He was guitar teching, actually, came out and guitar teched for us. And he actually filled in on bass and guitar at different times. He drum teched once, but he's kind of can do jack of all trades or whatever. He knows how to do lots of things. But I learned, you know, how to, I would say, snuggle down into the safety of trusting Josh. And just like, and knowing that I was just like, you know, when I got married, I was like, I'm giving you my heart, and it's like I'm committing to you, and like you're gonna be my number one job or like calling or priority, right? Yeah. So when he said, I think that this is good, I'm like, well, I'm gonna trust you because I don't know how to, you know, and it was such a relief to me because he's kind of watching out for my heart, which not everybody is in a relationship like that. I'm so grateful that he's watching out for my heart. And so once we got pregnant, it was like he saw that I needed to not divide myself again, you know, and I needed to focus. And it was I'm so grateful for that time to just be focused. Not everybody gets it. You know, not everybody gets that time. My mom was a single mom with 6 kids. She couldn't not work and be with her kids. She had to find ways to feed us. So I'm so grateful. My husband's father has a plumbing business for 40 years, and so he learned the trade during that time and went to work doing plumbing, and then he would come home and we'd have dinner, and I was like homemaking, and I loved it. That's not for everybody, no, not everybody loves that, but I was just so excited to be at home and make it a happy place and love my kid, and so I don't know, that was a great season.
Thank you so much for sitting down with me. Thank you for playing the game.
Thank you.
Definitely check out Life Screams, everybody. Lacey Sturm, ladies and gentlemen.